Yes, right now we're going to take a quick flick through the French newspapers of the day with Flo Villamino. Hello there. And you're going to start us off with some news about what's happening here in France. We've got lots of focus on the upcoming left-wing political primary. We've got 7 candidates who are getting ready for the first televised debate, which is taking place tomorrow night. So a lot of papers wondering which the left is going to go in, which kind of direction.
That's right, because Thursday night the 7 candidates are going to be debating ideas, but what ideas? Let's take a look at the front page of the Catholic paper La Croix. You can see they're saying that the left is actually out of ideas. They're searching for ideas. You can see those arrows there perhaps pointing in the right direction, going towards the left. Things aren't really pretty for the left as it gets ready for this primary. According to La Croix, the party is completely divided. Well, the left is completely divided. It's completely out of order. And this isn't good news for anybody, according to La Croix. It isn't in the interest, for instance, of the moderate right. The moderate right shouldn't want the left to be completely weakened, because that means it's going to get into an asphyxiating race with the the extreme right, Front National. And so La Croix has a very interesting opinion today. It says rebuilding the left is actually in the general interest of the country.
Bit of healthy debate needed, perhaps. Well, among the people who are running for the left-wing presidential nomination, there's a former Prime Minister, Manuel Valls, but one person who a lot of people wanted to run but isn't is the former Justice Minister, Christiane Taubira. She decided not to run in the primary, but she has been sort of giving some thoughts about what she thinks has gone wrong for her party.
That's right, and she's a woman who speaks very well, so it's always interesting to listen to her opinion. She gives an interview today to the weekly magazine Le 1. You can actually read extracts in this article in Le Monde. You can see a quote there from that interview where she says the problem, what's happening with the left, why is the left so lost right now? Well, it's essentially because it's turned its back on its very identity. So it's going through quite a deep identity crisis. According to Taubira, she says it's tripping over the very things that it left behind. So essentially, the left is moving forward. So she does have a little bit of hope here. There's also a very interesting point of view from a political scientist, Zaki Laidi. He is actually a former advisor for Manuel Valls, and he says that the left is in the middle of a metamorphosis. Now, there are calls for the left to completely reinvent itself, and he says that's not necessary. The ideas are there, the key ideas are there. What's needed, though, is to figure out a modern way to implement these ideas. But the key principles of the left, the fact that freedom isn't possible without equality, and we must give more to those that have the least, those are good ideas, but they just need to become more modern.
The right wing is also in the spotlight, isn't it? Yesterday we had the Conservative presidential candidate, François Fillon, who won his primary in quite resounding style. He was speaking out to the press. He's been defending his programme from his critics.
That's right. Let's take a look at the front page of Le Figaro, the right-wing paper, saying that he defends the radicalism of his programme. Now, Le Figaro
that's a touchy word, isn't
it? A touchy word, exactly. Le Figaro gets a little emotional today, it must be said, and is annoyed that François Fillon has become the punching bag for the political class. And in fact, they applaud him for standing firm and defending his style, essentially, his very austere style, I guess you could say. Now, critics say that his program is going just a little too far. It's a little too radical. But why should he change his program? According to Le Figaro, just about last year, he won that primary, that conservative primary, with quite a lot of a lead. And so why should he change now? Clearly, he won because people want change. And Le Figaro says he'd be crazy to let people down by, I guess, watering down his program.
Well, among his critics, the left-leaning Libération newspaper, of what a surprise.
That's right, Libération. They take a look at what Fillon was telling the press yesterday. Essentially, he told the press, take it or leave it. He's not going to change his radicalism, nor his austere style. They even quote him, you're going to have to do with my bushy eyebrows as well. So I guess we're going to have to put up with his dad jokes as well.
I like a dad joke from time to time. Well, joking aside, though, some papers are taking a bit more of an in-depth plunge into his programme. They're saying, look, let's find out how realistic these ideas really are, because it's all well and good having ideas, isn't it?
That's right. And Les Echos, which is the business paper, really takes a closer look at his programme now, because, we're talking about Fillon's style so much, but what about his programme? Well, Les Echos says his program is coherent, it's even praiseworthy, but it's inapplicable, which is pretty incredible coming from Les Echos, the business magazine. Such skepticism here. Essentially, his program is going to increase costs, but it's unclear how he's going to pay for it, and that's what Les Echos wants to know.
All right, just got time to talk about something that's a big preoccupation for a lot of people, including here at France 24, the flu epidemic in France at the moment. Le Parisien is rather concerned.
Absolutely. The flu is very strong this year. Hospitals are saturated. You can see they're talking about a state of emergency. Now, this is, of course, no laughing matter, but Le Parisien still has managed to have a cartoon about it. You can see the health minister talking to the president saying the flu is very serious this year. If we can pull up this cartoon, you'll see that François Hollande answers, "Oh, I'm not too worried about it because people are staying away from me these days." And just a final word about sports, because the Handball World Cup is kicking off in Paris today. In fact, France is taking on Brazil at 8:45 p.m. Now, they lost the final of the Olympics against Denmark. According to Les Equipes, the sports daily, they have a mission to win their 6th world title. And you can see that mouth guard there. That's Nicolas Karabatic. Hopefully, it'll bring him luck.
All right, we'll have to wait and see how they get on. Thanks very much, Flo Villamino there, looking through the papers.